everyone, and welcome back to the Steam Forward podcast. As always, I'm your host, Savannah, and today our guest is Julie Joseph. And Julie Joseph, she is a registered nurse, also a traveling nurse, and she is a powerhouse of a vocalist and has been a member of one of our sponsors, Trinity Church, for 15 years. Please, everyone, help me welcome Julie Joseph. How you doing?
That was lovely. Thank you.
You like your intro?
Absolutely.
Good.
Who doesn't love a good intro? Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Good.
So, Julie, let's just jump into it.
Let's go, bro.
Are you a Miami native?
I am.
You've lived here your whole life.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come to think about it, it's like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, because some of our guests are and some of our guests aren't. So it's nice to know who is and who isn't.
Yes, I am a Miami native for now. Yeah.
Awesome. So can you talk to us about your traveling nurse world? How did you even get into nursing?
Oh, man, what a story. So let's talk into it. So, of course, I'm a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for over about 11 years now. I'm about to celebrate my anniversary. It's going to be big, blah, blah, blah. It's a long time coming. So I was at bedside, meaning I was working in the hospitals. And I don't mean to get super spiritual, but I got into an accident in November 2019. And so thank God it wasn't a major accident. However, it was enough for the doctor to have me bedridden for about 6 weeks.
It was like a car accident?
It was a car accident. It was like they rear-ended me from the back, had the whole collision thing. Like I felt like a crash dummy in it, and thank God I could, live to talk about it.
Yeah.
So the doctor put me at bed rest for about 6 weeks. In those 6 weeks, I really felt like I just didn't want to go back to work. Yeah. I said, God, I can't see how I could go back to work. And I sought him and I prayed and I heard God said, we're about to enter a season of Job. I have no idea what that meant.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? I could barely get through Job. I couldn't listen to him talking about woe is me. Anyway, fast forward.
Me, weep.
Right.
Yeah.
Fast forward. I said, okay, God, I just don't understand what you're saying, but I don't want to go back to work. God told me to quit my job. I was like, God, I can't do it. I was without a job for a while, and I don't like the feeling. So fast forward, I didn't listen. I didn't heed to the word of God. Listen, Gen 2050, if you hear the word of the Lord, please, by all means, listen, okay?
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So anyway, because I wanted to have control, and I thought I know it all, right? Like a lot of us do, I decided I'd go back to work. And January, I go back to work. I was cleared to go back to work. And March 2020 is when the pandemic happened.
Right.
So boom. Fast forward, it still didn't dawn on me why God told me to quit my job. So looking at everything going on, people coming in to help, all of the craziness, the chaos that was happening in the hospitals and in the world, I just kept feeling this tug that I could not deny. And but fear kept me where I was at because I was comfortable. Being comfortable is a very dangerous place to be in if you are not willing to move and change and learn. And that's where I was at. And so finally, God will use a donkey if he has to. And so finally, there was a traveler that came. And he was watching the way that I worked and he was just telling me all his experience. And finally he said, Julie, you need to go and travel. And I was like, no, I don't know. And he was like, Julie, I don't see anything wrong with your back. You're doing all of these things. You're lifting, going crazy. You can do this. And then finally I had a moment of vulnerability and I said, what if I fail? Yeah. And he said, you will not fail. And in that moment, it clicked for me, like, I serve a God that told me what to do from the very beginning. And I remember this verse that said, oh, God, please don't quote me on it, but God is in there and she will not fail. Yeah. And I was like, man, I just got to go. Yeah. And that's what made me decide to just jump into it and start traveling.
So where do you travel to?
I've traveled all over the country. I've traveled to, I've traveled to Texas, to Arizona, to California, of course, Florida, Georgia. Oh, God. Minnesota.
So random.
Yeah, right.
So random.
I'm trying to remember all the states that I ventured to. It's crazy. But it's been exciting.
Yeah. So for the viewers watching,
I'm working on Hawaii right now. So Hawaii would be a great summer.
real fun.
Yeah, I'm working on that one.
So for the viewers that might be watching, what does a travel nurse entail? What exactly are you doing? How long are you staying?
It all depends. Travel nursing changed prior to 2020. I dabbled in it a little bit.
Right.
And it was normally what we call a 13-week contract, which is about like a 3 months and a week contract. And then when the pandemic happened, they were so desperate, they were willing to do 4-week contracts, which is just a month.
Yeah.
So it really all depends on the need and how you negotiate and how long you want to be there for. But let's say if I do get a Hawaii contract, I'm staying there for like 3 months. You know what I'm saying?
Living it up. Yeah.
Why not stay there for the whole summer? And then, it is what it is. But it all depends. That's typically how long, and you can, you're not capped at 3 months.
So you can extend.
You can extend for 6 months. I've known people that's been the same place there for like a year if they love it, and then a lot of times they end up staying because they love it that much.
The area and stuff. So where did you graduate and how long did it take you to become an RN?
Well, so my journey was a little different. I originally was going to become an MD, had a scholarship for it and everything, right? However, different circumstances allowed me, it shifted where I was going to be. And so I decided to go the nursing role. And that took me about 3 years to get my bachelor's. I went to Nova Southeastern University. Shout out to NSU. I started off at Miami-Dade College. And I got my credits and then went into Nova. So the whole thing took about 3 years.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I got my bachelor's there. So I'm very grateful.
And then once you got your bachelor's, like you were the RN.
No.
So you went to nursing school after?
No. Nova was nursing school.
Got it.
So Miami-Dade was when I made that shift from pre-med into nursing. And then I got my prereqs and then I went into nursing school, which was about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting my bachelor's and then I had to take my NCLEX.
Got it. Yeah. So I know a lot of students that want to be nurses. So if you could just, I know it kind of gets difficult.
So you want to be a nurse.
And they're trying to figure it out. I know like a lot of students that go to Turner Tech, right? Because they have the academy. And so how would you just encourage them to just keep pushing forward? Because a lot of them have kind of been at the bridge where they're like, I don't know if I want to pursue this after high school. Yeah.
Well, asking yourself that question is very important.
Right.
But I would also recommend, what are you most passionate about? If you like serving, if you like helping people, then definitely continue to pursue it. I would encourage anyone to say that it's worth it. It's a very rewarding. It's hard. Don't get it twisted. It's not easy, but it is a very rewarding career.
Yeah.
So I would just say to push forward. It takes hard work, but keep going.
Yeah.
Everything worth fighting for, anything good that you believe is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
So keep going, keep pushing, keep striving. I don't want to sound like the army, but literally be the best you can be.
Yeah.
And, and make it.
Yeah.
Definitely form, I would say, a community. That's always important, to have a community of people that can support you in your endeavors and in your path, and go for it. Succeed. Become that amazing nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have kind of a fun question. If you weren't a nurse, what else would you pursue?
Oh, man. That's a good thing.
Because I know nurse takes up a lot of time.
Honey. Ridiculously. Full time, I would definitely be in the music fashion industry.
Yeah.
I love the whole beauty thing. Sometimes I have to pull back myself. Anybody that knows me well knows that when I show up, I show out.
Hello.
I can be homeless one day and be in competition with the Queen of England, may she rest in peace. So yeah, I definitely love that vibe. Actually, before I didn't, as a nurse, I actually ventured into that. I started going into the fashion industry. I worked with one of the one of the beauty experts. He's a pageant beauty expert. He definitely forgot about me when he went ahead and did the pageant and Steve Harvey messed up on, the thing and blew them all up. Oh, yeah, he forgot all about me, honey. Because he blew up at that point.
Right.
But yeah, just to show you that how I like to dabble in those things.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned that I know you're humble. A lot of vocalists are, but you are a powerhouse. Miss Mams, you can sing, okay? For people like me who are vocally challenged, right? Or like the phrase is, everyone can sing, but not well. How did you know that you were a good singer? Like you just woke up one day and you're like, I think I sound kind of good. Or was it like a church life, like when you were younger?
That's a good question. I realized that I had some potential when someone was willing to work with me and put a mic in my hand and have me sing in my church, my home church. I don't know how to explain it. It kind of came out of nowhere. I felt this passion of singing. My first song that I think I ever truly believed that I could sing was CeCe Winans' Alabaster Box.
Yes.
And may she rest in peace, my choir director years ago put that mic in my hand and was like, look, go sing, actually try.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that, okay, maybe I can hold a tune or
hold a tune. So would you ever want to pursue a singing career, or is it more just like your worship to God?
I wouldn't mind pursuing a singing career. It's definitely a worship to God.
Right, like a serving basis.
Yeah, it has been definitely a serving thing. But if the opportunity arose, I wouldn't mind.
You wouldn't mind?
No.
Have you ever attempted, or you just haven't?
I attempted. I did. And I allowed fear to hold me back. I did. I allowed fear to hold me back. And I said, I'm not too sure about this anymore. I don't like where this is going.
Yeah.
And so I kind of backed down. I went to what was comfortable to me, which was nursing.
Right.
Because at that time, I think I had a couple of years under my belt and I felt secure in it.
I feel that.
Yeah. So
I know, because you can tell when you sing that there's a lot of passion. Like, what does it feel like, or what does it mean just to like worship and sing? Like, what does that bring you?
Peace.
Yeah.
It brings me a lot of peace. My voice is not my own.
Yeah.
My voice is definitely not my own. It's a gift.
Amen.
Whenever somebody gives you a gift, it's given. It didn't you didn't create it. It was given.
Yeah.
So it feels like home. Worshiping, it's we're spiritual beings having a physical experience.
Yeah.
And it just feels right. It feels down in my spirit. It transcends any physical experience at the time, and it just feels right. I'm at peace. That's what it feels like.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's really reassuring to you, reaffirming.
It is, and it's like that phrase, like it's above me now.
Right.
It literally does feel above me. Like it's no longer. I don't feel like it's me anymore. It transcends, and it just feels like, okay, boom, here it is. You gave it to me, and I'm giving it back to you. And that's what
awesome.
It feels like. Yeah.
So what's next for you besides worshiping and nursing? Like, what are you dabbling in these days?
I am dabbling in a lot. I feel like a kid in a candy store all over again.
Yeah.
I have allowed myself to be open to a lot, because nursing has opened that door for me, that I can still be able to be a nurse and do what I'm passionate about other than nursing. So what that means is I'm venturing into entrepreneurship. I want to help other nurses as well who are in situations where they either want to become a nurse or they are a nurse, and they're like, what's next?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I realize I'm good at mentoring others, so I've been told, it's nice. And as well as me just venturing out into my other dreams, into other things that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And see how that goes, because after 11 years, you think, what's next? In anything you've been in. for a certain time frame. You're going to say, what's next? And so that's where I'm at.
That's awesome. Well, at least you're being open-minded to the opportunity.
I am very open-minded. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will kind of get to a place where like, guess this is it. I guess this is all life has in store.
That's another thing about nursing I would recommend. If anybody wants to go into nursing, know why you're going into it, what you want to get from it, and like your long-term goals. Like in 5 to 10 years of doing this, what's next? You know, like what would you... I like to think of it as a vehicle, you know, it's what destination do you want this vehicle to take you to?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and so I knew coming into it, at least for me, and not to say there's nothing wrong with retiring from a job after a certain time. It is very commendable. As a matter of fact, it's very well honored and respected. However, for me, when I remember when I first got into nursing as a nurse, I saw someone, and after like 35 years of being a nurse, she was so happy to retire because she was going to be well off, right?
Yeah.
And I knew deep down in my heart, as much as I love nursing, that's not what I wanted it to end with, which is,
right,
35 years.
And you're done.
And I'm done. You know, I wanted more from my nursing career.
I love that.
And so I would like to say that anybody who does want to be a nurse, know what you want to do. Do you want to retire as a nurse? Do you want to use the nurse as a vehicle to another destination of doing this, that? I hang around a lot of people that they're a nurse and then one is a model and then they're a nurse and then I'm just seeing an entrepreneur. They're a nurse and then, they're a graphic designer. I know tons of people like that in which we know we love serving. And that's a talent of ours that God has blessed us with. That's what we call our cape. Nursing is our cape.
Yeah.
And we're like, what's his name? That's a shame how I don't know this. What is his name? Superman, when he has his black Clark Kent.
Yeah.
We're Clark Kent as nurses. And then when we're deciding to go out and be different things, we strip those glasses and open the shirt and you see like, wow, this is our superpower as well. So it's just amazing to be in that position. So yeah, anybody who wants to be a nurse, know what you want to do and what you want out of it and how you want things to end.
Yeah. I think that's anything in life too.
I don't mean to be so long-winded. I'm just so passionate about it.
No, I love it. No, it's all great stuff. It's all great stuff. So, Julie, we like to end with the word of the day. And so if you could think about from the time you started nursing school to you being a vocalist, for you being in church, just all these things that you've been just experiencing and doing in life. If you had one word to kind of sum up your experiences, what would that one word be and why?
My one word would be progress. Progress. In everything, I wish I can look back about 10 years ago and tell myself, Julie, you are progressing.
Yeah.
Keep doing the dang on thing. Because in the midst of it all, you can find yourself just saying, am I doing enough? Or what do I do next? Or how do I get out of this? Or, oh, this is annoying.
Yeah.
And what has been helping me thus far is knowing that I'm progressing. I am better than what I was when I started.
And it's hard to see that in the middle.
It's hard to see it in the middle at times. And having a relationship with Christ, helping me understand that he's not going to be done with me until he comes back. Yeah. So progress is my word from here on out. That, girl, you're progressing. Keep doing it. Keep going.
It's there.
It's there.
I love that. Well, Julie, you've taught me so much. I need to go find a vehicle now to go for my life. Like, what do I want to do besides what I'm working on now? I love that.
Yeah.
So
what do you want your destination to be? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
It was. Yeah. It was very nice. And as always, there's two sponsors that we like to thank, and that's Trinity Church and the Children's Trust. And don't forget that there's 3 ways in which you can watch or listen to this podcast. If you'd like to watch, just follow us on YouTube. If you'd like to listen, follow us on Apple or Spotify. Remember, this is the Steam Forward Podcast. See you next week.
Steam Forward Podcast.